Hello and welcome to User Spotlights. I'm Laura with ClickFunnels, and today I'm speaking with Pam Obasa. Pam teaches business owners, entrepreneurs, and educators how to create a lucrative sales system, launch their signature offer and get booked out, monetize their message and story so they can sell online with ease. Welcome, Pam. Thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. I look forward to having fun with you. It's going to be a fun interview.
Yeah, looking forward to getting to know you. So tell me a little bit about your background and why you started this business.
Oh, gosh. You want to take me way back?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. My background is actually as an actress. I wanted to, I saw my name in lights and I went to drama school. I went to the Brick School, went to drama school, came out with an agent, all of that good stuff, started performing and doing film, theater, radio, and my life was going up and up and up and up. And then I had a bereavement. I got married, had my daughter, and I lost her at birth. And instantly, my entire life changed. I just didn't want to be on stage. It was the last time I ever performed till today. I just didn't want to do it. My life changed. All I wanted after that was to be a mum. And then it took a while to actually achieve that dream. Then when I became a mum, I then had the bigger problem, which is providing for my family and wanting to spend time with them. And, I then tried to go back into acting and I realized that it didn't give me the life that I wanted in terms of I wanted to have my kids and, and spend time with them and do all of that good stuff. And I remember just sitting and just thinking, what am I going to do? These are my skill set. This is what I have known all my life, what I have done. Like, what's next? What does Pam do as a mom with a newborn baby? One day, in the middle of the night, I was watching something and this thing came up on my phone. I was scrolling on Facebook and something came up on my phone called a webinar. What's this webinar situation about? And Sunday night, I was like, let's check this out. So I plugged into this webinar and I was amazed. And it was somebody running a webinar from the comfort of their own home, and there were thousands of people watching. And in my mind, I instantly thought, oh my God, she's on stage, or she's teaching something. She has an expertise. Like, this is a whole different way of, having my dream. But then I thought, but Pam, what is your skill? What are you going to do? What is your like? You have nothing. That was my initial thought. And so then I went through the process of trying to figure out, okay, if I could potentially help people, what could I do? And that was when I started to just unravel my own skill set and everything that I could bring to the table. And then started to put together my own confidence, to really build back the confidence again, to think, okay, you're not performing, you're not doing the things that you're trained to do, but you could possibly, God probably has a different purpose for you and you should go in that direction. And that was how I started to really think about doing something online.
Wow. And what led you to creating funnels to grow your business?
Oh my. So I first found out about funnels because I was running webinars. So my very first business in this online space was a daycare nursery. So when we lost our daughter, I literally had like 2 years of never leaving the house. Because back then I was a known face, but in the acting space, right? A lot of people knew me, and so I didn't want to go anywhere. And my mom had this day nursery that she was running, and she said, come and help me do the marketing. I said, Mom, I don't know marketing. She said, it doesn't matter. Just sit in the office and figure out the marketing. So I did that. I sat in the office. I didn't speak to anybody, and I tried to figure out how do we get people through the door. Within 6 months of being at that business, I took it from 12 children to 60 children. And making it a 6-figure business within 6 months. And that was when I thought, hold on a minute, maybe there's something in this marketing space. So I started going live, and I would just go live and I would talk about, marketing stuff for day nurseries and do these lives, Laura, and people would turn up and all sorts of people. And one day my mom said to me, she said, Pam, your live streams are amazing. Just Facebook lives, they're amazing. And she said, but the things you talk about, I really think they apply to other businesses beyond daycare. I was like, Mom, I don't know what we're talking about. I'm talking nursery. I'm talking how to. She said, but the advice that you give, Pam, they help so many other people. Simultaneously, I started getting these DMs from people called coaches. I'm thinking, how are you a coach? Do you teach people football? Like, are you like some sort of football coach? I'm like, what do you do? So I started getting to know these people, and I realized there's a whole industry for coaches, and they need help with their marketing. So I started to run webinars to help them with their marketing. And that was when I started to do funnels to bring people to these webinars.
Wow. Okay, so going back a little bit, and I know that this is a little bit personal, but clearly a lot of your personal experience have shaped who you are and why you started your business. Can you tell us a little bit about how overcoming some of that stuff maybe made you want to pursue this?
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, the way that I put it is that, and this is my truth, business saved me. Like literally doing what I do saved me. It's what got me out of depression time and time again. It's what gave me a purpose time and time again. It gave me a reason. It made me feel like, like I had a purpose. And the moment I grasped that, I turned it away from before. My why was, okay, I need to be able to get out of the house. I need to be able to think better. And then my why was, I need to do this for my children. And then my why massively changed to, I need to do this for others. Now that it has saved me, I need to help others to realize what they have within them, because so many people are so lost for various reasons. And oftentimes, the thing that is your thing, I find, is right under your nose, right? It's a skill set. It's often the thing, Laura, that you have ignored or that you haven't noticed. If my mom hadn't had, I still remember her standing outside the door with my sister knocking, and I wouldn't let her in because I just I don't want to talk. I was quite happy being depressed, and that sounds very, very sad, but I had gotten used to it. But if I hadn't have taken that step to then go in and, try and fix this problem in this business, I would never have realized that ultimately, Pam, you do understand marketing, like it was always there. And the way that I was able to fix that is I focused on one thing, which was storytelling. And, going back to my entire acting background, when I do the whole 360 and I come and I circle back, I just look at my entire journey and I just think, oh my God, like this was always the plan. God had this planned all along and I just didn't know it.
That's really, really powerful. And I can tell just by speaking with you in this interview that you have this sense of charisma and this vulnerability about you that's so willing to share a personal story. And I feel like that's so important. And sometimes people don't realize how important it is to feel like you can be approachable and connect with somebody to understand their story so that you are willing to learn from them. And I think that says a lot about your character. And I can sense so much of that from you just by speaking with you.
Thank you. People buy from people who they know, like, and trust. We all know that. But where there's a disconnect is that people don't realize that the way that people get to know you is because of how vulnerable you are, how human you are. Nobody wants to buy somebody who they have buy from somebody or invest in somebody who they have a disconnect with. They want to connect with you. They want to know that you are real, and a lot of the times, especially when it comes to storytelling, it's the things that we have been through, those very dark moments that actually, when you look back, they are the very reason why you are who you are and where you are. So the way that I look at it is, even though they are painful, for me, if I can use that pain to help somebody else, then I believe that pain was, it wasn't just a waste. That's the way that I see it.
I love that. So you mentioned webinars and how you use those to teach now. Is that your main funnel? Have you used other funnels? Tell me a little bit about more about how you use webinars to grow your business.
Webinars specifically isn't my main funnel, actually. So in terms of my business, we use several different funnels or sales systems, as we call them. And what we do with the webinar funnel is we place it in the middle. So, for example, we might have on the front end, we might have a 5-day challenge or a boot camp or some sort of workshop. But in the middle will always be this webinar component that then leads people to my middle ticket offer, which then leads people to my high ticket offer. So one thing I always say, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned through my journey, it's not one funnel that does it. It's actually a combination of funnels and the way that they are stacked together. and the way that your messaging and your story is congruent throughout each one. And as people just walk through, they get to know you better. They get to know you better, and they go up and up and up and up that value ladder, because at every point there is congruency, there is trust, and people get to know you more and they buy even more from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit, let's go into business a little bit. So when you started using funnels, how long did it take you from understanding that a funnel would actually help you in your business, not just for growing your list, but actually making revenue in your business? How long did you go from creating your first funnel to getting your first client?
Oh man, okay, that's a big question. Let me think back. How long did it take me? My very first funnel was the webinar funnel, my very, very first one. And it failed. It failed massively, I'm not even gonna lie. I would have these webinars, and honestly, people would turn up. Like, this was back in the day when you would do a live stream and Facebook would push it everywhere, right? Not like we do now. So I do this live stream, people would register for this webinar, they would all turn up. And I wouldn't stand. It was through that whole process that I learned that it's not just the funnels. You got to learn how to sell, right? Like, a funnel is like having this water bottle. If there's no water inside, you're going to be very thirsty, And that was the biggest thing that I learned through that process. So that was my very first funnel. Then we started to get that converting. What really set my business, what really helped us massively at the beginning stages was a self-liquidating funnel, which was the next one that I had built. So I built this self-liquidating funnel that had a series of offers in it. And the very first offer was $17. And I cannot tell you how much I danced when I made one sale of $17. Why? Because I realized that if somebody can pay $17 for something, that it's only a matter of time before I can charge $1,700 or $2,700 or whatever the rest is. So these were my first two funnels. And for the self-liquidator funnel, it took a good 2 years, I'm not going to lie, to really understand the process and get it to work and get it to funnel people through. But once it did that, within the first month of launching, within 35 days, we made $65,000 in that one funnel. And that was when I knew that, okay, Pam, you actually know what you're doing. You have a business. That was okay, let's go. Let's do this. Finally, we've gotten somewhere. Yeah.
Amazing. And what made you want to stick around, even after you said you failed miserably in your first one? Like, what gave you the drive to keep going to see if you could make this work?
I love a challenge. I really love a challenge. And, throughout my entire journey, there's been nothing that has made me question whether this is where I'm supposed to be. And so, because I've always had that back door closed, like there is no back door, like, and this is it, I sort of knew that it was either you succeed or you succeed kind of thing, like there's no other option. I remember when I was dating my husband, we've been married for 12 years, but when I was dating him, I can't remember what the situation was, but he gave me a scenario. I was working on something. I don't remember what it is, but he gave me a scenario and he said, Pam, when you're struggling to get over a certain point, and let's imagine that you're kicking at this thing, one of two things will happen. Either that door breaks down or your leg breaks. So make a decision. Which one is it going to be? And I remember saying to him, well, every time I'm kicking, the goal is for that door to break down. And so for me, I've never had a back door to this. I believe this is my purpose. This is what I've been called to do. I'm called to help people. And so when I come across challenges, I just see it as, okay, brilliant. Well, there's a story in that, Pam. One day when you overcome this, you're going to be able to help somebody else who is struggling at that firm point.
Wow. And that has to really be able to carry you through, even in the future, knowing that you are doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Love that. So I'm curious, you said that you have a background in acting. Has that at all helped you with coaching, teaching others? Like, how would you say that kind of impacts the way that you do things in your business?
Oh, my, I really think it has been everything. I didn't see it before, but now when I look back, or actually based on people's feedback, Massively. It's helped me with my confidence. It helped me with, I still get very nervous. Like, you don't know this, Laura, but before I came here, I found myself like a million times. I was like, come on, calm down, Pam. Drink some water. Put your blazer on. I'm still get incredibly nervous. But the thing about having an acting background is that you learn very quickly to be on the ball. Like if I'm on camera, I'm not seeing just Laura. In my mind, I'm talking to millions of people. That's just where my mindset is. And so that helps me massively. The other thing that it helps me to do is we learn very quickly with improvisation that like this, you can never drop it, right? So I know before I come on this interview that there is no question that I will be asked on any interview that I won't be able to answer. I just have that confidence because of improv, you know, that whenever I feel that that ball is being dropped, something will pop into my brain like, oh, Pam, this is how you answer it. And the way that I build my business is that it's always based on truth. And so I've always thought to myself, well, if everything you do is always based on truth, Pam, then you're never going to struggle to answer a question because you know that you're never going to lie. So it's easy to always keep on top of things. So it's helped me. It's helped me with confidence. It's helped me to hold the crowd. It's helped me with charisma, with, you know, with hopefully what people see, personality. I hope.
Yes, definitely.
I hope it's helped me with all of those things. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so two last questions. One is, what is the single most important piece of advice that you could tell other entrepreneurs that are maybe just getting started in a business like this?
Oh my, okay. The single most important advice would be to drop 80% of what you are doing right now and focus on what is most important. And for me, there are three key things that are most important, and that is, what is your signature business model? What is your offer? And what is your launch process? Right? Those are the three most important things to begin with. When I first started, one of the reasons why it took me so long is because I focused on other things. I tried to learn how to build my own website and how to put it all together, how to learn what WordPress. I tried to become an expert in Canva. I tried to become an expert in I had 2 YouTube channels. I had 3 Instagram handles. I was on LinkedIn. I had 3 Facebook groups. Like I was doing so much. But when you're doing so much, it's like running around in circles, and you are still moving, but you are always going to be exhausted because you're chasing your own tail. And so one of the things I do in my program at Intensive specifically is, let's strip all of these things and let's focus on what is important. And so that would be my biggest advice for people who are at the very early stages of their business.
I think that's so helpful because so many entrepreneurs, even people in our community or people that are just getting familiar with ClickFunnels, are trying to do so many different things to see what sticks. And I think that can be helpful in a way to understand where you should find your focus. But so many of them get so lost in doing the day-to-day, just stretching themselves thin, that they're not focusing on the one thing that's actually going to really move them forward in their business. So I think that piece of advice is really important, and something that probably all of us should consider, even in our personal and professional lives, of like focus on the things that matter most and they're actually moving the needle, because the rest of the stuff doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference.
No, it doesn't. And you won't miss it because it never made a difference. When I dropped all of these things, I realized that, wow, it's not, you know, and the biggest fear, Laura, the biggest fear is, if I stop doing these things, will I miss them? It's just like niching in. When you ask, you know, a new business seminar to niche in, is, you know, their biggest fear is, but if I niche in, will I lose access to all of these other areas? The truth of the matter is that when you focus, you just become laser sharp. You have so much more clarity. You have such great direction because you're trying to go from point A to B, not going from A to Z and A to J and A to B and all of these different points. It just helps you to get results faster.
That's so helpful. Okay, last thing. Where can people learn more about you and your business online?
I would love for everybody who's watching this to come to my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube, and it's Pam Obasa. You can find me. You can find me on YouTube. So come along and find me there. We publish 3 times a week. And if you liked what you saw here, great heart. And you know, but bit more teaching and a bit more training, which is what I'm really about. And you're going to love our channel. So definitely come there. Can I share one more thing? Can I share a tool?
Absolutely. Please do.
I like that. Brilliant. I'd also like to send everybody our case study, which is called the seed method. And I think it's brilliant for this because it shows how we use one of our funnels to generate 120K in 3 days. And that is at theseedmethod.com. So please go ahead and check it out.
Theseedmethod.com. All right. We'll include that also in the caption so everybody can see that. Thank you so much for offering that to our viewers today. And thank you so much, Pam. I loved getting to know you. Thank you for telling us about your background, sharing some really trivial things that have, impacted and shaped who you are today, and powerful, huge things that I can only imagine that they were difficult to go through and to share with people. So I appreciate your vulnerability and all of the things that have made you such an amazing person and so easy to connect with. So thank you for being on this today. And hopefully everybody goes and checks out your business and learns more about you.
Yes, go ahead and do that. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.